Firstly, thank you all for spending your Saturday with us. This is the 9th DPW, which is quite exciting for us at Dasra to see this sort of process flow through. My name is Krishnan, and that is Suranjana. We will be the MCs for the day. This was definitely the way I planned my Saturday morning. Just to give you a perspective, as you know, the Dasra Philanthropy Forum, which is today, is the final day of a week-long, which we call Dasra Philanthropy Week. To give you a little bit of an idea, it's been a very exciting week for us. We had a couple of really big events, one in Delhi, where we had government, we had funders, nonprofits. In some of the others, we had the same group with intermediaries. We even had trailblazers like Pushpa Devi, who was an elected official working in Bihar with the community, speak to us about her experience, which was incredibly motivating for us. We also had social entrepreneurs gathering to learn from their peers and talk about their work. We also had a session which was quite vital, which was on failures. I think for a change, being able to talk about what didn't work and what we haven't done well is just as important for us. And lastly, we also did launch a community movement for girls called Ab Meri Bari, and you'll hear more about it and see the video later in the day.
The momentum that we've picked up in the week past is just going to kind of culminate today with a whole day of very exciting discussions. We'll be sharing our learnings and experiences that we've picked up through the year with you. There are speaker bios and the agenda for the day on your tables. Feel free to go through them so you know what to expect through the day. There's also a display with all our latest reports at the entrance to the room. So it's not just a pretty display, but it's meant for all of you to feel free to pick up as many copies of those reports that you find useful for yourself, so go ahead and help yourself to them. Do stay with us for the whole day. We know we've got a very long day planned, but I promise you each one of these sessions is going to be very interesting, and I hope you'll have a fantastic day. I know that you know pretty much everybody in the room. Look forward to having fantastic discussions amongst yourselves as well. And I'd like to welcome Neera, someone who needs absolutely no introduction to this audience, to the stage, and start off.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's very exciting to be in a packed room, so I know you're all very close to each other. We thought we would relive what is Bombay outside here, so you can feel comfortable and have no personal space this morning. So welcome everyone here. I'm most excited today about the full day and all the different conversations we're going to have. But I want to take this moment to appreciate an individual that has actually been the backbone of Dasra and has lended his leadership and his credibility to be able to be where we are today, which for many of you probably seems all flashy and full of glamour today. But there's a lot behind that goes into what Dasra has become. And so many of you probably know Tarun Jotwani. He's fondly known with our team as TJ. I don't know if you know that, but we're like, TJ's coming. What's TJ going to say? Who's he's going to meet? But he's graciously been leading us and the team as the chairman of our board for the last 5 years. And we've seen a tremendous growth with him really helping us at the helm. And I was just reflecting this morning, and Deval and I have spoken about this many a time, is when we approached Tarun and we were like, hi, Tarun. So Tarun's a Morgan Stanley alumni, and both Deval and I are alumni, so we thought maybe we'll have an automatic connect. But by then he had moved to scary Lehman Brothers. So we were like, okay, now we really have to be careful. We didn't know anything at the time of the future. But so we approached Tarun and we said, would you like this wonderful opportunity to be the chairman of Dasra? And he's like, what's Dasra? And we're like, okay, here we go. So thank goodness Anne came, and I'm so glad you're both sitting together, because I know that everything we get from Tarun is a lot to do with the support that you've provided. And so Anne and Tarun invited us to the Willingdon Club to have dinner. And we thought it would be, like a fun, casual dinner. And all of a sudden, Tarun's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And Deval and I are like, we better say the same thing. We've not really thought about where we see ourselves in 5 years. And so Deval, who obviously speaks much more confidently about where we see ourselves in 5 years, gives these like grand plans of where we're going to be. And I was like, yes, and that's where we're going to be. And then he drove us, and Anne's like, I'm really sorry that Tharun's asking you all these questions. I hope it's okay. And I was like, thank God Anne's there. So then we got dropped somewhere in their luxurious car, and then we took the rickshaw ride home, and we were like, I don't think he's going to join or to be the chairman. I'm not sure. And then he decided to join us. So we started off with a budget at around $1 million. Tharun, I don't know if you remember when we were a small, beautiful organization. And we've grown to about $5.5 million in terms of our budget over the last 5 years. And we've tripled our size as an organization. We were about 55, 60 people when you joined, Tharun, and now we're almost 125 people. So we've become so much more, and thank you. And here's a little token of appreciation. Oh, I'm going to jump down. Thank you, Anne. Oh, that's not very graceful. So those of you, he's still on our board, so I know we have a lot of nonprofit partners here, so don't try and take him quite as yet. We still need you to support us. But as he transitioned, I'm very excited to be able to welcome Shashank. A similar challenging story to convince Shashank to be chairman. No, I'm just kidding. When we invited Shashank and asked if he'd take over from the large shoes of Tharun, he basically said, I need to think about it. I was like, oh my God, again? But he called within 24 hours and accepted this role, and we're very excited that you'll help take us into the future. So welcome, Shashank.
Thank you, Neera, for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shashank Singh, and on behalf of my fellow board members and the entire team at Dasra, I'd like to welcome you to the 9th edition of Dasra Philanthropy Forum, and thank you all for coming today. I'd like to start with something of a personal story, actually. We've all heard of Dasra and the pivotal role it's playing in the broader ecosystem in the nonprofit world in India. Excuse me. But I'm not sure how many of you know the history of Dasra and where it started from. The story actually begins in the late 1990s in North America. A young Mr. Deval Sangvi, where is he? There he is, now with a beard, graduates from the University of Texas, Austin in 1996 with a BBA in finance. And a young Miss Neera Nandi, who you just heard from, graduates from the University of Western Ontario in 1997 with a degree in engineering. Then they do what any idealistic, principled young person who wants to change the world would do. They join Morgan Stanley's investment banking analyst class. But this is where the story starts to travel in a different direction. In 1999, Deval moves to India to start Dasra as a 24-year-old. And Neera follows him a couple of years later after she graduates, after she goes on to complete her MBA from Harvard Business School. Ladies and gentlemen, in an era where we celebrate young entrepreneurs who start businesses that have a profound impact on our lives, on the services we buy, how we live our lives, I personally find what two 24-year-olds did nearly 20 years ago when they started Dasra, and the impact that the organization has had since then, truly remarkable and inspiring. The theme of this year's DPW is Impact First. To truly realize the Dasra vision of transforming 1 billion lives, we need to ensure that the dialogue on change is made richer, sharper, and more action-oriented. With prioritizing lives in philanthropy as the crux of our new driving philosophy, Dasra aims to put actual lives at the forefront of work. Specifically, we hope to encourage all of you philanthropists in the room today to question yourselves on how you are changing the world through your philanthropy, and provide all of you with mediums to enhance that impact. Our goals for the year were therefore geared towards prioritizing impact in everything we do. I think this is probably a good time to also present a quick report card on all of Dasra's achievements in 2017. In the area of sanitation, Dasra co-facilitated the National Fecal Sludge and Separate Management Alliance, that's quite a mouthful, and helped build consensus with 25 partners. The alliance was instrumental in drafting and the passage of India's first national policy in this area by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Dasra launched the Adolescent Collaborative in March 2017. I know a lot of our partners are in the room today. A national high-impact platform for adolescents with a geographic focus to start off with in Jharkhand, and identified 4 high-impact, scale-ready nonprofits to partner with. Since the collaborative was launched last year, Dasra has brought together 5 major funders to pool 85 crores, that's roughly $15 million for the sector, as the start of what we hope will be a national level initiative. The Democracy and Governance Collaborative engaged with the government in a number of areas, including the Niti Aayog's 3-year action agenda and the Ministry of Women and Child Development's draft national policy for women, as well as key new funders who continue to grow the collaborative fund. In addition, Dasra published a report on access to justice to raise awareness and direct philanthropic attention to critical and underserved governance issues in India. In the area of capacity building, Dasra, in partnership with the Harvard Business School and Ashoka University's Center for Social Impact and Philanthropy, brought the Strategic Nonprofit Management Program to India. Last year also saw the relaunch of the well-known Dasra Social Impact Accelerator Program in October 2017, and a number of our nonprofit partners have experienced that, to provide capacity building support to social organizations in their growth stage. And finally, as you know, the area of strategic philanthropy is Dasra's newest and one of the most important areas of focus for the organization. Over the last year, Dasra has engaged with 95 philanthropists, corporates, and foundations, and supported them to help to create their own philanthropy roadmaps, providing them with tools to make informed and strategic decisions, as well as helping to build and execute robust implementation plans. As part of this initiative, Dasra has launched the Donor Education Initiative through the Dasra Philanthropy Program by bringing together a group of philanthropists, and the first cohort from 2017 is called the Changemakers. Also in partnership with the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, Dasra has published a series of short philanthropy guides for givers who are at early stage in their journey. And I'd encourage all of you to pick up copies from the kiosk outside. Finally, welcome to DPW again. You have a fantastic day ahead of you with a number of distinguished speakers throughout the day, starting first with a panel on Impact First, and rounding the day out with a discussion on reimagining philanthropy between Peggy Delaney and Amit Chandra, with a number of other great panels and keynotes throughout the day. We will also be launching the 2018 Bain India Philanthropy Report, focused on understanding tomorrow's strategic givers during the afternoon. But most importantly, we have a remarkable group, all of you in the room today, and I would encourage all of you to make it an interactive and engaging day. Use the coffee breaks and the lunch to get to know each other, and seek out any of us throughout the day for conversations. Have a fantastic day, and once again, welcome to Dasra Philanthropy Week.